Hey, welcome to the Better Postpartum Podcast. I'm your host, Angel Swan, crunchy Christian mama to one and postpartum doula to many. I help moms care for their bodies, minds, and newborns naturally during the first 3 months after birth. If you're looking for pro tips on how to nurture your body naturally after childbirth, take care of your newborn baby using crunchy mama methods, and help your whole family thrive during the 4th trimester, you've come to the right place. We've got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. I'll see you inside the episode. Are you worried that your baby isn't sleeping through the night? Are you racking your brain trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? Karen's baby is sleeping through the night, or so she says. So what's going on? Why won't your baby sleep through the night too? Do you want to know a secret? Sleeping through the night is a big, fat lie. And it's true. Some babies do sleep up to 5-hour stretches at night, but those babies are a little bit older, at least 3 months old, and they're unicorns. They are few and far between, not to mention, everyone seems to have their own definition of sleeping through the night. This mom over here says her baby's sleeping through the night, but in reality, her baby's sleeping 4-hour stretches. And you know what? That's great for her. Like, that's a huge mom win. But I think when people think of sleeping through the night, you're like, you go to sleep at bed, or you go to sleep at night, your baby is asleep, and then you guys both sleep until you wake up in the morning, not like waking up every couple hours for a feeding. Most people just think, oh, sleeping through the night means you go to bed and your baby doesn't wake you up until you're ready to wake up in the morning. So let's get the facts straight about sleeping through the night. Babies have a natural survival instinct. It's very primal, and all babies have it. They need to be really close to you in order to feel safe. Because if you think about it, they're in a really vulnerable position as a baby. They can't communicate except for crying, and they can't do anything for themselves. Like, they rely on you for everything. You feed them, you change them, you hold them, you keep them warm, like all of these things. So if you think about it, of course they're going to sleep more soundly if they're on you. If you're thinking, oh, my baby needs to lay on me in order to take a solid nap. Well, yeah, sometimes they do. They just need to lay on you. That's why when your baby's laying on you, they might fall asleep and take a really awesome 3-hour nap. But when you try and put them down in their crib, they wake up instantly, or they wake up after like their first 40-minute sleep cycle. So when you think about a newborn sleeping through the night, as a newborn, they're not going to be able to do that. Stop putting this pressure on your newborn to sleep through the night, because it's not physically possible. It's just not. Babies are born nocturnal, and they do most of their sleeping during the day, and they're going to be more alert at night. So I think a good thing for you to do is to just manage your expectations about what's really normal for a baby. Quit listening to advice from people who haven't had a baby recently, like grandma and grandpa. Like, I know they mean the best, but they might not remember what it's like to be living with a newborn baby. And I can almost guarantee you they didn't do any research about it. Your girl right here has done some research. I read all the books. Trust me, I read the books. I work with these babies. They're nocturnal and they're not sleeping all night long. Newborns are not able to sleep through the night because they haven't developed a circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythm is just like, okay, the sun comes up, your body is waking up for the day, and then when the sun goes down at night, your body is winding down and you go to sleep. That's the basics of your circadian rhythm. So you think about it, your newborn was in the womb for 9 to 10 months. It's dark in there. Their sleep is all over the place. And if you think about how often they're moving in the womb, which gives you an idea of when they're awake and when they're asleep, it's kind of sporadic throughout the day. So you can't really expect them to come out of the womb ready to just sleep long stretches at night. They don't have a circadian rhythm, and because they're so tiny, they need to eat more frequently. And if you're trying to pressure them to sleep longer stretches at night, what you're doing is just depriving them of the extra feeding that they need. So I know this probably isn't what you wanted to hear. And I know it's hard to hear it, but it's the truth. And you need to manage your expectations so that you can just rest. Because I know that stressing about getting your baby to sleep at night, it's not restful, it's stressful. Hey lady, did you know that I have some really fun and helpful freebies up on my website? I've got a postpartum planner to get you prepped and ready for life with your new baby. My planner walks you through building up your support system, setting yourself up for breastfeeding success, postpartum meal planning, and more. If you want to grab my free postpartum planner, head on over to postpartumcompanion.com and check out my free resource library. Now, back to the show. So you got to manage your expectations. You need to rest assured and know that your baby who is not sleeping through the night is totally normal. They're just a newborn. It's a phase, and they're going to grow out of that phase. And they're going to grow out of it really quickly in hindsight. When you're in the thick of it, when you're living day to day with a newborn, it feels like, sometimes it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, especially if you have a high-spirited baby, also known as a fussy baby. But just know that they do grow up really, really fast. So just support them through this phase by letting them take that extra long nap on you, pop them in a baby wearing carrier, just let them get the snuggles that they need so that they can get the rest that their body needs to develop. And know that by 3 months of age, still only about 50% of babies are going to be sleeping for up to 5-hour stretches at night. So if your 3-month-old still isn't sleeping those longer stretches and they're waking up every 3 to 4 hours, that's okay. It's normal. Again, those babies who are sleeping longer, they're unicorns. I can tell you as a postpartum doula who's worked with a bunch of little tiny babies, the only baby, and I'm literally telling you, the one and only baby who was quote unquote sleeping through the night, his mommy and daddy bought him a snoo. And if you don't know what that is, it is a bassinet that swivels in a figure 8 motion by itself. It plays white noise and it's smart. So when it hears your baby moving around or start to cry, it speeds up the motion and it turns up the white noise. So it's essentially soothing the baby for you. So when they tell me, oh yeah, he's sleeping for like 8 hours a night, I just kind of look at them like, yep, of course. Yeah, of course he is. Like, and that's totally great for them because their baby wakes up in the middle of the night and he's soothed by his snoo. If you can afford a snoo, you should totally get one, but it's expensive. And I know that most of you might not be able to afford that. So if that's you, just know that like the best way to get a good night's sleep is to keep the baby in your room as long as possible. If you can, if it's safe for your family to bed share, you can do so and let them have contact naps throughout the day. And if you feel like, oh, well, I can't let them contact nap on me, I got all these things to do, that's fine. You just pop them in a baby carrier. They're going to go right back to sleep. They might fuss for like 5 minutes, but then they're going to fall asleep. So I'm just giving you the knowledge here, just giving you my wisdom. One other thing to help your baby sleep longer stretches is by understanding that your baby's a baby, okay? They're not a big boy, they're not a big girl, they need your help. So you have to help them establish healthy sleep routines. And you can do this from the moment they're born. And what this looks like is called the Eat, Play, Sleep routine, which you can read about in the Baby Wise book, but I'm just going to outline it for you here because it's real simple, you guys. Eat, play, sleep. Or I also like to adjust it to eat, play, eat, sleep, because some babies like to be topped off before they go to bed. They're not going to go to bed on a partially empty stomach. So this just means when they wake up, you're going to do your best to encourage a full feeding, which is eat. You're going to get them to eat as much as they can, as much as they need, and then they're going to have their wake time, which is the play portion of the routine. And when they're awake, you got to work them out. Newborns obviously don't have a lot of physical capabilities, but what you can do to help them work out their energy is don't put them in a bouncer, don't put them in a swing. If you can, either wear them, because when they're being worn, they're moving their head around, or at least trying to, and they are using energy to try and look around and see what you're doing. Or you just lay them on a play mat underneath a little baby gym and let them have some unrestricted movement. You can encourage tummy time, but I will tell you, most babies hate tummy time. And if you just pop them on a play mat and expect them to do tummy time, that's not really going to work. You can let them, you can lean back while you're holding them on your chest and let them kind of do tummy time on you, as a really great way to get it in the beginning and to help them work out. And so then you've done the eat, you've done the play. Maybe you need to eat again. So you give them a little bit, a little snacky snack, and then you put them to bed. And when you're putting them to bed, you need to be following a bedtime routine. So this needs to be consistent every single time, so that eventually it's going to signal to your baby, okay, like it's time to fall asleep. Hey lady, did you recently welcome a new baby into the world? Are you spending hours on Google trying to figure out what's normal and what's not, only to become even more overwhelmed by all the conflicting information that's out there? Stop wasting your precious time Googling all the things and spend more time snuggling your cute little baby. Ask a postpartum doula instead. As your virtual postpartum doula, you'll have access to me every day via WhatsApp chat. We can text, send photos and voice messages back and forth whenever you have a question or just need emotional support. I will give you encouragement, resources, and evidence-based advice to all your questions. In addition to the daily chat support, you'll also have a weekly video call with me, which is a great time to get live one-on-one support with breastfeeding, baby wearing, pumping, diapering, you name it. I can do live demonstrations and coach you while you do it yourself. Last but not least, all of my virtual clients and my in-home clients get access to my online courses for free. I'm currently offering Newborn Care 101 and will be adding Breastfeeding 101 and Cloth Diapering 101 very soon, so stay tuned for those. If this sounds like a good fit for you, then head over to postpartumcompanion.com/workwithme and schedule a free postpartum planning session to get started. I can't wait to support you on this new motherhood journey. Now, back to the show. So, for example, your bedtime routine might look like you dim the lights, you're going to turn on some white noise, change their diaper, put their clothes back on them, and then put them into a swaddle. And then once they're all cozied up, you can rock them gently to sleep. This might be just holding them and swaying, or maybe you're holding them and you're rocking back and forth in your glider. Most babies like this movement, especially if you've done all the other things that I listed to make the environment soothing. And some babies, I will tell you, some babies do scream themselves to sleep, and that's just because they're easily overstimulated. And if this is the case for your baby, I'm sorry, but you just kind of have to let them do it. As long as you know that their needs are met and they're screaming, like that's all you can do. And just comfort them, or at least try to comfort them until they fall asleep. I have worked with several babies who just scream themselves to sleep. It's just part of their routine, and it's normal, and it's unfortunate, but if you just know that in your mind that they're okay, you've met all their physical needs and they're fine, then you're doing everything right. And you can just rest knowing that. I think the most important thing when it comes to managing your expectations about your baby's sleep is just know that, I mentioned it before, but the newborn days, they're really short and they don't last for very long. And your baby's going to grow. And before you know it, you got a 1-year-old and they're still not sleeping through the night. Newsflash. Oh, but you just got to soak in the cuddles, because they're going to grow up fast, and that 1-year-old's going to turn into a 2-year-old. The two-year-old's going to eventually be a 5-year-old who hopefully is sleeping through the night by then. And yeah, it's all a phase, and this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Which, by the way, is not actually a Bible verse, but it's just a nice thing to know and to say because it's true. So soak in the snuggles, manage your expectations, let your baby be a baby, and just hang in there. You can do it. If you need support, if you need somebody else to put your baby down for a nap and you want to go take your own nap, that's fine. Take a nap with your baby, that's fine too. This too shall pass. And you're going to make it. You're going to make it out on the other side, I promise you. Now, if you do feel like you need some help getting your baby to sleep, or maybe you're not really sure what exactly in your routine is off, but something's not working, feel free to schedule a postpartum planning session with me. It's 15 minutes, free call for you. And we just kind of plan out a better solution to whatever problems you're facing. And then if you need more support, then we can go from there. But it's just a good way to have someone else look at it from an objective perspective and tell you what's going on and hopefully give you a solution. So if you want to do that, you can head to my website, postpartumcompanion.com, and I'm always happy to help you because I know how hard these days can be. And I've been there myself and I've helped other moms through it. And I know I can help you too. So if you listen to this podcast and you do the things that I'm telling you and it doesn't work, just give me a call. I'm here for you. Hey lady, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, would you do me a huge favor and rate and review this podcast? The more ratings we get, the more moms we can help. If you want to get more postpartum tips and encouragement, subscribe to this podcast and hang out with me online. You can read my blog at postpartumcompanion.com/blog, hang out with me on Instagram at postpartumcompanion, and join my free Facebook group called Crunchy Christian Mamas. If you have your own postpartum story that you'd like to share, head on over to postpartumcompanion.com/podcast and submit an application to be on the air. Thanks again for listening, and be sure to subscribe and meet me back here next week. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to pray. Bye-bye now.